This is the GoPro 11, and this over here is the DJI Action 3, and we are going to be comparing both of them in real time as we work on the YouTube yacht project. And I'm just realizing how much I'm going to hate editing this video. Hey everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. We are doing direct comparison between the two cameras today. We're going to show you in real times the pros and the cons that I have with both these cameras. Now this is not our normal content. Normally I'm out working for Dirt Perfect. We're working on this awesome YouTube yacht boat-shaped rental cabin project, working out on the homestead. We're working on our 555 backhoe Ranwin Parks project we've got going too. But I had a lot of people ask about the cameras I was using, and we've gone through a little bit of camera trouble here recently, so I thought maybe this could help somebody. So we're gonna run it today. A good place to start is just to show you the setup. This is a GoPro 11. One thing I do like about it, you see the little volume indicator there, so it does let you know that it's picking up volume, which is nice. It is in the media mod case, and it has their endurance battery in there. And on the DJI, it is DJI Action 3. Front-facing screen, both of them have the forward-facing screen, which I like, and then screen on the back. There is no audio indicator on the DJI Action 3, and it's on the GoPro battery handle, which I'll flat out tell you right from the get-go is garbage and not worth the money. I typically run a Ulanzi battery handle, typically cheaper than the GoPro handle. They last better. This one, where you charge it right here, the USB-C port, it's already broken. I've had it a month. I haven't dropped it once. Honestly, it's just broken from use. The battery GoPro handle, that's garbage. We're just gonna start out right there. Now we did just pour this project, which means I have a lot of trash and a lot of cleaning up to do, which I didn't think would make a very interesting video, but I thought it'd be a good time to use that footage to show the pros and cons of each one of these cameras. I did have to borrow some tools, some Dirt Perfect, so I'm gonna get those cleaned up and loaded up. We never even used the Fresno. It's basically like a giant steel trowel, but we did use the bull float. Stop recording. All right, so right off the bat, that is an issue I've been having with the DJI. They both have voice command, which I do find super handy and saves super handy and saves me a tremendous amount of time. And I've kind of fallen in love with the voice activation features. Right now I'm going over there to take the poles off of this bull float. Typically I'd walk over, say start recording, get a quick 10-second clip that I can trim up in the editor, and then whenever I get further along in the process to show forward progress in the video, I would say start recording again, and we go from that. Here's the GoPro. I'm going to mount you in the same place. The GoPro beeps like this when it starts recording, beeps like this when it stops. And the DJI's tone sounds like the first note of Piano Man. So you can use that as a comparison, and we're just going to, I'm going to turn you off, and we'll see how the record feature goes. GoPro, stop recording. DJI, stop recording. Of course, whenever you're trying to show a flaw, they both work perfectly. Now, if you have a wireless mic on, your sound goes through the wireless mic, you can be as far away from it as you want and tell them the commands you want, and they're going to hear it really well. But I have noticed that the GoPro picks up that voice command further away than what the DJI does. Of course, it worked perfectly in this example, but just take my word for it. Looks like I missed a little bit on the hose down when it comes to cleaning. This is an old concrete rake that broke that we used for a rebar hook. I'll get this cleaned up. I do want to tell you though, the DJI does have one major flaw, and I will tell you which one I'm gonna, like what my go-to is gonna be at the end of the video. Let me get these tools cleaned up and back to Dirt Perfect, then we're gonna hop over to a little bit of burning, and we'll talk a little bit about the audio between the two cameras. We'll do a comparison, maybe a side-by-side type of thing. Stop recording. Stop recording. Got mic stuff back to him. Again, huge shout out to Dirt Perfect, a man behind the scenes, and my brother Tony for helping pour this thing. And of course, Mike for letting me borrow some of his hand tools. I have several hand tools on my own, but I don't own a bull float, and I don't own a Fresno. I did have to borrow this. The next thing I'm going to do, see how the plywood scraps and wood scraps? And then these scraps over here, that was using the original ICF pour. I held on to them on the off chance I needed them for this, but I didn't. So we're going to burn those. We're going to start getting all this burnt. And some of this is going to get burnt as well. The longer 4-foot pieces, obviously we'll save those, but these little 1-foot blocks and a lot of the plywood that comes off that will all get burnt. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to set the GoPro and the DJI up, the two cameras side by side in the same spot right here. And then what I'm going to do is just record making this fire for the sole purpose of switching back and forth between the two cameras so you can see the difference in audio and picture quality. I run the same settings on both cameras, 1080p with 60 frames per second. That's what I like best. It works best for me in post-production. So we're going to switch back and forth between the two cameras while I do this so you can kind of get a comparison. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are upset that we're burning a lot of this, but here's the thing, you know? Here's the important thing. All right, we'll let that burn a little bit. I'm not trying to melt the foam off the side of this rig today. That's not the goal. I'll let that burn down a little bit. The next thing I want to take care of, I got a bunch of rebar number 3, number 5, a whole bunch of number 4, just a bunch of steel laying around. I want to go ahead and get that all picked up and get it stored in the shop. There's a lot of money there and something we could definitely use in the future. Wait, putting 20 footers on the side by side? Oh yeah, we're doing that. All right. So this is hot. I'm not going to stay here long, but the steel's all organized and put up in the barn best it can be. Now it's out of the weather. We'll use that for all kinds of projects in the future, including the floor and the goat side. Yeah, really hot. The goat side of the barn. Battery check. The GoPro is on a charger for about an hour. It's at 79%. You haven't been on a charger at all on the DJI, and you're on 62%. So no charger, 62. Hour on a charger, 79. I'm gonna build this back up again.
Why is it spicy?
It was just so cool walking around up here on a floor. While that burns off, I'm gonna get all my tools picked up and moved in the barn for storage as well. So that part's done. Now there are a few reasons I went with the GoPro first. It does have an aspect ratio of 8x7, which is something they added on the 11, and it's pretty cool what that allows you to do. And why I went with it is it means in post-production I can get a 16x9 out of that, or I can get a vertical TikTok out of that as well without sacrificing any of the resolution. That was honestly the selling factor. Aside as all the technical aspects of it, they're pretty similar. GoPro's bragging that they had 10-bit color options when DJI only had 8-bit, but with the firmware update, which this is running, this also has 10-bit color. There's a few other things, odds and ends of slight differences, but for someone like me with a channel my size, nothing that makes or breaks the deal. It comes down purely to the ease of use and how reliable it is during the day. And it's the ease of use and reliability that have led me to using the primary camera that I'll be using from now on. And I'll show you a couple of those features here in a minute. Let's get this first. Perfect. Not bad. Pretty excited about that. Let me show you a couple features on the GoPro that I like. And I'll show you a couple features on the DJI that I like. Sit down on the concrete for this. Whenever I'm out filming, I don't want to be slowed down. I'm a one-man operation for the most part, unless I got a big job like this where I have some friends come over and help. But for the most part, I'm a one-man operation, which means I'm setting up the camera, starting it, stopping it, changing the settings as we go. The less time that takes, the happier that makes me. So the GoPro does have, here's our beautiful mount. One thing I do like is you can set up custom settings. There's that 8x7 I was talking about. I've got it on 4K. That way I've got a little high resolution so I can edit it a little bit more in post-production. But if I want to go to my normal shooting setting, I have it set up like that. So this is in my scroll menu. So I can go right to my 1080, 60 frames, just like that. And that is pretty quick and painless. So I do like that feature. That's pretty nice. And you can customize this or any of the features here, which we have zoom, which keep in mind all action cameras are fixed frame cameras. You're not actually getting a zoom, it's just a digital zoom, and anytime you do it, it's going to distort the image. Just like if you were to zoom it in post-production. So it's not actual zoom, but they all have the little digital zoom option. And you got all your features here that you can want, unavailable, except for that one. And the DJI is the same way. You can go in and customize that setting that you see on the screen, and not only that, you can also on both of these customize what you see on the front screen here too, which is pretty nice. So you can set it up exactly how you want it to get you through the day and you're filming a little bit quicker. So both of those, like I said, that's a great feature on both of them. No complaints there. But I do want to talk a little bit about what made me start investigating other cameras. There's two things this thing does that really annoys me and made me say, I wonder if there's a better option. One is the way they have this whole case design. Now, if you've ever ran a GoPro, you know they're glitchy. They are very glitchy, so that's issue number one. But to solve for that glitch, anytime it freezes or anytime it has trouble shutting off of a function or switching to another function, basically it just freezes and locks up. And you have to do what's called the GoPro reset, which is pull the battery out and put the battery back in. But let me show you the process on the GoPro and why this is so annoying to me. Now, this does have the media mod on it. So step one, you got to undo the thumb screw right here, which is just tucked in ever so tight right there. Now you could get extended thumb screws if you want to make it a little bit easier. Thumb screw out. This is what I have to do every time it freezes, which is like 10 or 12 times a day if I'm being honest with you. Then you have to pull it out. Now, because for whatever reason they thought it was a good idea to build the little tabs for the accessory mounts into the camera, they're not on the media mount. You have to fold both of these little fellers down first. Then you got to open the end of this. Then we slide it out. Then we take the battery, pull that out, give her a quick count to make sure she shuts down completely, put her back in, turn it back on, make sure it's up and running like it's supposed to before you reassemble it. Normally you'll get a repairing previous file message because the previous file was messed up, but it doesn't always repair that previous file. It has caused me to lose clips. Then you slide it all back together, click the media mod door back on, flip these two little tabs up, put this back on, and it's just like a USB. You're gonna put it in right the first time, think it's not right, switch it and what have you, but keep in mind, because it's only dug out on one side, not on this side, it has to go on a specific way for the thumb screw to go back in. And once you get those lined up, you tighten her back up and you're good to go. But that's pretty time consuming. It doesn't seem like a huge deal, but whenever you're in a rush to get an actual project done and you're trying to get your filming done so you can get content out and get the completion done. I mean, you know, we got bigger things to think about than just the videos when it comes to what we're doing on this channel and most outdoor channels. That's pretty time consuming, and the amount of times it will glitch out during the day is very frustrating, which made me look at the DJI. So I'm gonna switch you over to the GoPro so you can see how we have to do that on the DJI. Pro 11 now, the DJI has a completely different setup. Thumb screw like this. They have little clips. You just squeeze them and pull it off. You're separated, just like that. It's super easy. You don't have to run the case, but I do like to run a case. This just pops right out the front of the case like that. Much easier. And then the battery compartment is right there. And you're set. It's just that easy. It's so much faster if you have to do a reset on this, but I have not, since I've had this camera, knock on wood, had to do a reset on this. And as far as clipping it back on, you just line it up and push, and it's locked on. And then it has, this clip came with an adapter, so it fits all of these traditional action camera style mounts, or whatever you want to call them. This is a win in my book. This is way faster. That system is way faster if you have to reset, but like I said, you don't even have to reset. And if you are into the tiki-takis and you need to do the old vertical camera work, it has a mounting on that end as well. So you can mount it just like that. I don't know, I think that's pretty slick, and so far, I haven't had any issues. One concern with this is with the GoPro, that is directly attached, those tabs, they just seem more secure. This seems solid, but I have not put it on the side of a semi or a piece of equipment going down the road yet to see if this in fact will disconnect and fall off. Now you guys stay to the channel, you might find that out, but I did talk to Clint from CNC Equipment, who by the way just passed 80,000 subs, so hop over to his channel and tell him congratulations, because he's got some awesome things going on. And he said he's had this on the side of his truck multiple times and never hasn't, the words, has not had a problem with it yet. And I trust Clint's judgment on that, so I'm pretty confident in it. And it does feel secure, it's just so convenient, you know. So as far as reliability and convenience and which one causes me the least amount of trouble during the day, which means I'm more productive and I'm happier when I'm filming videos, I'm less frustrated, it's gonna be the DJI Action 3. Now, like I mentioned, this DJI does have one huge flaw that almost cost me the second video in the mini-series I just did. We'll talk about that in a second. I want to go ahead and start taking off. Well, let me hop down a little closer and show you. We've got the rest of that pile on the fire, and it's doing, oh God, God. Getting that all cleaned up, which makes me happy. Well, I want to go ahead and start taking all these blocks off and taking this outer 4-foot piece off. We're gonna leave that 2x6 and plywood on for now. The next 10 days, everything's in the mid 50s and lows in the low 40s, so it's not bad, but tonight it does get down to 20. So I'm gonna leave that 2x6 and plywood on. The concrete's still putting off a little heat and will continue to put off heat as it cures. I don't want that lip to freeze and, you know, have an issue with that during the overall cure process. So leaving that plywood on will help hold some of its heat in from the curing process and avoid any issues. But we can go ahead and take those outer supports off and just be one step closer to the next step. So we're back on the GoPro, and this is gonna show you what the audio sounds like from the back of that media mod. You can make adjustments to the media mod to figure out which mic you want to pick up, the front or the back, but I think that's kind of annoying. Anyway, here's what I wanna show you. This is on the DJI app, and this is what I did not know. So these clips are part of the second episode of the YouTube Yacht Pour. Factory setting, and I will show you how that setting has changed and where it's at on the camera. Factory setting on here. What I did not know, if I go to try to transfer this, unable to download. H.265 videos, connect to a computer to export. So the factory setting is H.265. Now that's just a codec, and you don't have to get caught up in the technical terms of that. But H.265, or also known as HVAC, HVEC, is not compatible with their mobile app. That means I could not take the clips that I had shot for 2 whole days put them in my editor, and edit them. I actually had to go to good old Best Buy, pick up a brand new laptop, learn how to use Adobe Premiere software to get that second video out, and it was an all-nighter, but it was worth it. I think the miniseries turned out great. That is my big issue with the DJI. I don't know why that is the factory setting. Now you can change it, and it has been changed since then, but nonetheless the laptop's purchased and so is the Adobe Premiere, so we are where we are as a channel now. All right, so I want to share where this changes at, and I'm pretty sure I've been saying that first one wrong, but we're going to find out real quick. Video compression, I'm sorry, HEVC, which is H.265. I have it on H.264. which is what I need for it to be compatible with the app. So you just switch back and forth like that to what you need, and go back, verify that's what it says, and you're good to go. My apologies about calling that HVEC, it's HEVC. Hopefully I got it right that time. Either way, it's not compatible with the app. And that's a huge flaw in my mind. And if you're not paying attention to that, it could kind of put you in a bind. It definitely did me. But even with all of that, I'll just go ahead and tell you what my go-to is going to be. I'm back on the DJI Action 3, and I want you to notice the difference in audio. I'm doing no tuning or any difference in the audio post-production or editing. I'm running raw audio off of these cameras so you can hear the difference for yourselves. And keep in mind that GoPro 11 has the media mod on there, which is supposed to improve the audio from the actual camera itself. Even with that issue that I had with the compression rate, I still love this DJI more. It has not glitched out on me, and even if it does, it's so much easier to do a hard reset by pulling the battery out. The audio to me, and you let me know down in the description, sounds way better. And I do want to say both cameras are phenomenal cameras, and each one kind of has its pros and cons, but think about what you're getting for what you're paying. You're getting a camera that shoots 4K, and some of them even a little bit more, waterproof, shock resistant. The video stabilization is unreal on these cameras. They're both fantastic cameras, but for me personally, I'm in love with this DJI, and I think that's what I'm going to stick with. I do want to add to that as well. You don't have to have one of these action cameras to have an outdoor channel. I started this, and as did Dirt Perfect, and as did so many other channels, with your phone. Your phone has just as good video quality. The only difference you're going to find with your phone is the video stabilization. It's just not there, but you can start out with a phone. I think I ran a phone all the way up to 10,000 subscribers before I switched to a camera. To that point, whenever the channel started paying for cameras, that I could try to improve the quality of the videos we were making. So don't think you have to have an action camera to start a channel if you're looking at starting a channel. The other thing is, you also don't have to have the latest and greatest cameras. The Hero 7 Black GoPro is still a phenomenal camera. And from what I hear, the Action 2 DJI is also an awesome camera. So don't think, oh, I gotta get the newest, latest, and greatest to run a channel. You don't. You could start with your phone and produce just as good quality videos as anybody else out there. I don't care what channel it is. And you can go with an older model of an action camera as well and still put out top quality content. So don't think you gotta have what we're rocking here. This is something I never thought I'd have, honestly, and it's just because, gosh, that is still surprisingly hot. That's just because it's the success of the channel and you guys. All right, so the rest of this video, we're done talking about cameras. The rest of this video, we're gonna be removing some of this stuff, getting some more stuff picked up and burnt. This is just a bonus video for y'all because a lot of people are asking how I like the camera, so I thought I'd put this out and maybe it'll help somebody in the future. I didn't really plan on having a video out today anyway. It's just kind of a bonus thing. So let's take some supports down and yeah, do some work. I'm betting money we can fill this bucket up with screws by the time we have everything off of here. You want a little tip and trick here? These screws, once they get past the threads into the let me just show you what happens here. Maybe this has happened to you, maybe it hasn't. I'm gonna back these all the way out. Watch what this one does. See how it does that? The screw doesn't want to come out. It's because it's up on the shoulder. There's no threads to back it out. So watch how I do this. This is from stripping a lot of ICF forms over the years. You'll notice when I back these out, the first one, I back out to where the threads catch both. And then that way, that'll actually back out. Now I can get the screw all the way out. same thing on these. Just back that one out a little bit, and that one will force itself all the way out. Now the screws are up. And we'll just let those leaves burn out a little bit. Ain't nothing wrong with that. One less thing I got it. Is that a multi-tool? Oh! Where'd it go? What a find! Huh? Nice! It's like a scavenger. That's. Ooh, doesn't take you long to look at things, does it? Not bad. Oh, swing and a miss. Like the third pour for these boards, so you know they're going. Just can't stop looking at it. It looks so good sitting there. Ready for the next step, all cleaned up. Unreal. But also very real because it exists. Next two videos will probably be back on the Ford 555. We have a radiator and water pump from Area Diesel Service to get installed. We gotta get the old one off, which takes a whole nose cone. It's gonna be an ordeal, but a good ordeal to video, so hopefully you guys will tune in for that. Probably some Subaru side-by-side project after that, and then out to my brother's property. Remember, he bought that abandoned hunting camp. It has the old hunting cabin that got blown down, that tornado. It's a big old mess. We got the 755 sitting out there. We're gonna take that out and start picking through that and get that cleaned up. So we got that coming up. It's going to be a good month for content. Lots of awesome stuff. I definitely appreciate you guys watching, as always. You know that. And we'll catch you on the next one. Yeah, that's good. That's back to no. We were good. Things were going to, you know. That's. Come on. Just a little. Maybe. Okay.